you know the English, if you study English grammar, they will have the vowel sound, right? Have you heard of it? A, E, I, O, U, right? But it's very strange that the A, E, I also together because they usually is in a mix. So this Greek word actually is not really the English, it's a Greek word, and they don't follow the English rules. Now, originally, it's not talking about, strategic. Strategic in Chinese, if you look at this, 策略, right? Now, in Greek originally, it is not that mean. It is talking about the art or science of being a general. Now, general means what? You know what is a general? Do you? General, right? Now, so what he's saying is that if you want to be a good general, there are, you may, a general is that you want to win the war, right? Win the battle. In order to win it, you need two things. Sometimes you will need science. Science means what? How many science soldier you have? How much ammunition? Ammunition, you know what the word ammunition means? 军火. In other words, is science means the more, the higher chance you will win. Oh, well, we agree, right? You have more people and you have more, guns and bombs, you probably will win. Now, but when we look at the history, that not as that necessary, it guarantee you're going to win all the wars. There is the most famous one I'm sure you heard about, the Waterloo War. Have you heard of it? Napoleon, the last war he got was a Waterloo one. He wants to invade Russia. He got maximum soldiers that he can get. But what happened? But because of the weather, he lose the war. And the other part, Russia was very smart. When he wants to get into the city, they evacuate the whole city, nobody inside. So they will run out of water, run out of food, and the weather was cold. So eventually, he lose the war. And what we call that is the art of being a general. Now, Chinese also, right, have a lot of story when we read the history that how a general or how they win the war without a lot of ammunitions. You heard of Mgt L07? Heard of it, right? So what is it? It is an art of being general. So what is here nowadays we are thinking of is, it is, yes, true. It is, strategy means an art or science of being a manager. So now the question is not theory now. It is how are we going to do it? Now, have you read this book or you heard about it? The Art of War? Huh? You remember last time I mentioned there was 2 books in the world, famous. People will read it. One is the Book of Change, again, right? The other one is this one, The Art of War. You know what that is? You don't? 孙子兵法. Are you all awake? You awake? Okay, because I look at all the blank face, and the one online, you better be awake, all right? I think it's an interesting chapter, so pay a little bit attention. 孙子兵法 is actually, so the book is not very long. Together, the whole book is around 3,000 some words. Basically, it was talking about, the book will tell you that if you go for a battle, where you should have your soldiers stay overnight, in other words, is where they should stay. And then what they're saying is that where you select the location is very important in order to win the battle. So select the location means what? That is strategies. Where you're going to start the war, those select locations, and how you're going to take care of all the food, because you have to take care of the soldiers too, right? That's what books all talk about. Now, can we make use of it in today's business world or even in today's war? No, it doesn't, because today we use a very different way of doing it. But what we learn here is the concept is that how you're going to set the planning, and that is what we call strategies. So it is not really following the regular procedures, but it is looking at what can we do to avoid, the regular system to do so. So what is strategic management? It is a planning. Yeah, you say, I know it, but planning what? What is in the business? So in other words, I'm going to do business. Which business you would like to be in? Now, many of you probably saying that, well, that depends, what is your interest? Yes, that's good. This is your private. I was saying that, think of it as a hobby. And next thing is, you say, well, if I know it, I probably will do a better job. Sorry. Nowadays, there's so much things that you can learn. It is impossible you know everything. So if you want to be in any business, if you don't know how to do it, don't worry about it. You can hire managers to help you. You can look at all the big corporations. The big boss actually sometimes is not even trained in that professional. Now, really, in university, a lot of students sometimes will say, I want to, for example, I want to get in marketing, but I can't get in. So my future, I have to do something else. And let me tell you, don't worry about it. The 4 years degree actually is helping you to get mature. And after you come out to this work in the societies, if you go into any business, most likely people don't care what degree is. Now, but accounting is a little different because accounting will require some professional examinations. So that will be a little difference. But other is really the 4-year university is just to help you to mature. Because when I was a program leader in other university, and right now I'm the associate, program leaders. When we design any programs, we always go out and ask the managers, is that how would you like us to plan or to design our modules to help our student that later on when they graduate, you're willing to hire our student. One time I was talking to MTR. I know them quite well because I do consultants for them too. They're saying that, what kind of knowledge you want our student to have? Because if you want us to train the student the way you want to, then I hope you will hire our student. And you know what they said? They said it doesn't matter. When we are when we're going to hire workers, first thing we want to look at is the maturity. And, other things we're going to train them because MTR have an excellent training program. So they were saying that, who in the world, in the society, in any university would teach them anything about MTR, system? No one, right? University don't have it. So they say that those are the things I would train them. But to make sure is that the worker is mature enough, to be trained and be a good worker. Yeah, it is. Business, corporate business is the same thing. If the question is, what kind of business I would like to be in? It's not just my interest, and not just I think that will make money, because all business, if you know how to run it, you will make money. Okay? And when we're saying that what business is in that means we're going to make money, not necessary. That is, satisfy its customer. So some people run business is not just for money, but for reputations. Or some people is saying that people need it. So of course, money is another objective because money is some of people what they're thinking of is a business is for their workers to do. So that is what we think about strategic management, is what kind of business we are in and how we are going to make sure that it is going to be successful. All right. Now there is another word is called business model. The reason I particularly put it here is a lot of people don't know what is business model, but this word is getting very popular because if you are ever go to any, I would say that business meeting, or you are going to go into the business world, when you introduce someone, what you usually say? Oh, what is his name and what is his title, right? So when people know about your business, your title, usually the next thing people will ask, what is your business model? Business model means what? How the company is going to make money. In other words, is what you kind of way you are going to business. Now, make it very simple. Since this is your first course on strategies, business model, the very basic, you can have two ways, right? One is I open a shop and customer come in. That is one business model. Because if you open the shop, then you will have inventory and you have to rent, you need to rent, and you have to train your worker differently. So it's a very one special business model. Another business model, you say, I would like to do it like Taobao online. Now, if that is online, you sell business online, that is another business model because you don't need to rent places, but you need to have very sophisticated IT system because that is how people pay and how you are going to deliver the goods. So it is two very different ways to do business. Now, that is what we call the business model. Now, of course, today there are many more. When you are going to study advanced more business, you will learn that there are so many different ways of business our company can do. All right. Now, we understand the general concept. These things we are going to ask. Why is it so important? Because if you're going to have a good strategies, that will affect your company performance. Now, more important is when you're going to think of strategy, you will have to examine really well, not just check to the business organization environment and the change. That is the one of the I was saying that the name of the game. That is how you're going to fastly adapt to the changing environment. Now, one more is, of course, you do need a strategies to help the company to understand and focus on what the organization wants. So in other words, is we are all here to do business. So what is the unique thing we would like to sell it to the others? So let's say that as a girl, I'm not talking about boys, all right? This one is difficult. Let's talk about girls. Girls, how are you going to attract others? Well, you may think of, I can be pretty, I can be educated, I can have a lot of money, or I can be very intelligent. It is difficult for you to have all of them. So you have to think of, that which way you want to attract people. So if you're saying that pretty is my goal, then think of any way how to make yourself look good. But if you're saying that, I want to let people know that, I'm very intelligent, then your focus is going to on how you are going to project your image to the others that you are an intelligent person. Company is the same thing. You need to make money, right? But what kind of image you like to use in order to attract, people's attentions, and that is what you want to focus on. Now, this is not easy if you are working in the big corporations. Why? Because you know what your objective is, but are all your department all around the world, or all your departments know exactly what you want to achieve? Because when you make decision, you remember in the second class we already talking about decision making. Sometimes it's not yes or no. It's what? Different priorities. So if you know your strategies, you will know how to set the priorities in the company and know that what needs to come first. So that's the reason why it is so critical. Okay, now, so is it, all right, if that is the case, exactly how we're going to do it? Well, we would like to help you to do the thinking by showing you 6 steps in preparing it. Basically, you don't even need to memorize it because it's fairly straightforward. Now, what are the 6 steps that we need to work on? Here they are. First, you have to identify the organization's current missions, the goal, and the strategies. You say, what does this word mean? I will explain that. And I will give you an example because when I teach, I hate to use definitions. And if you understand the example, that will be easier because, we are going to not going to have examinations to tell you to write it, right? Now, here's one step. There's another two, and there's here. So there are 6 steps. And first, let's look at what do we mean by organization current mission, goal, and strategy. All right. Now we are saying about current. Now, if your company don't have one, of course, you have to come up with one. If you have one, you may consider, is it still valid? Now, most of the company will have these so-called strategies may change every 5 years or 10 years. It's impossible you change it in 2-3 years because this is really talking about conceptual skills, long-term plan. So company will have this kind of thinking. I do see as strategies 10 years, 20 years. I will have an example to show it to you later on. Because what they're thinking of is if the environment changing so fast that our old strategy doesn't work, then we need to come up with a new one. Now, even you know it, China always come up with this so-called 2 or 5-year strategies. That means what they're thinking of every 5 years, we'll have to revisit our strategy if it needs to be changed. Okay, now, so exactly what they are. Mission is the purpose of the organizations. Some will call it vision. Some will call it mission. And they are more or less the same. So this means that what is the benefit you would like to offer to the public? It is the word usually is a benefit, something good. Now, there is another word is goals. Goal here is that what you want to achieve, measurable. So mission, you may say that our mission is to have quality good. Now, quality you cannot measure. But then everyone knows that, you like quality things. But when you say goal, means that our goal is we will have only 2% of defected good. That's if I'm going to make 100 products, there is only 2 products that have defect. So you're saying that, well, in that case, next year I want to have only 1% defect. Next year, I hope that if I produce 100 goods, only 99 good, only 1 product is, have defect. Then goal you can be, measure. So basically, what we are looking here more is the mission. The mission means that what kind of benefit we would like to offer. Because the benefit you're going to offer, later on you'll think how you're going to achieve it. So I'd like to show you some of the, I would say, example. Now, you're saying that where you find all this? Easy. All you need is to go up to look at the annual report. For big corporation, especially those who are going to in the stock market, especially, they are required by the government that every year they have to come out with an annual report. So you say, where I can get the annual report? Library will have it. Online will have it. I'm very surprised that the students say, oh, we cannot find the information. This is the reason why I say when you do projects, don't pick some small company. Because where you going to get information? Too big corporations, it will be difficult because the annual report is very thick. For first student, can you manage to read all those and be able to understand what that is? That's the reason why I'm saying that, a medium size of company will do well. Now, you say, okay, honestly, if you want me to find out a company, how they're doing, the first thing I would do is go and look up the annual report because the annual report is most official because it's audited and submit to the government. They pay tax on it based on it, so it got to be accurate. And I will have a pretty good idea about that company. Go to the library, look at the company, and you'll be able to find out. Now, when you open their annual report, the first page, usually the company will tell you what are their mission statements. Next page usually is the CEO's letter to the shareholders. Then the CEO will say, dear shareholders, this year what we did very well, or this year because of the coronavirus, our business dropped, and this is our planning for the future, and he will sign it. And after that, of course, is looking at each year, the whole year what they did. At the end of the annual report, usually is their audited financial statement. Plus, some company will show you their organization chart, the organization structure. That's what we will talk about next week. By looking at that, you will know the company's business and what kind of business they are in, and are they worldwide? Yes, they all show it. Just look at the annual report. It's very interesting, and then you can have tons of information. Now, so let's look at, I collect all this, for years, but this time I just want to show you their mission statement, a simple one. The first one I want to look at is 3M. Do you know 3M company, right? Do you like to use those stickers? Since those stickers was invented by 3M, and 3M was famous because of those stickers. It's something like this, right? I'm sure that all of you are using it. Yeah, excellent. I like it as toys. I bought it all colors, everything, I just really enjoy playing with it. The good thing is, that when I have different pages, that is excellent things. Now, what is 3M's mission? To solve unsolved problems innovatively. So in other words, 3M is not looking at something really big or new invention, but they just want to look at our daily life. What are the things that we think that it is a problem and we cannot handle it? So 3M say, don't worry, let's try to solve the unsolved problem. How? Using a very unique, different way. So they are not saying that, oh, why don't you use detergent? Oh, why don't you use bleach? No. They are not going to use the old way to solve the problem, but they find a new way to solve it. Now, so what is 3M's objective? If you, the boss, that's what the boss tell you. This is our mission. Then you have to think of, okay, we are going to look at people's problem that they don't know how to handle it, and actually there's no solutions to it yet. And after that, of course, you're thinking of, then how we are going to solve this problem? Because I think that in the past, when they 3M invent those stickers, the reason is because those tapes cannot come out. If they came out, they torn the paper. So this is the small little things, but it is difficult to handle. So that is what 3M was working on. Now, next one is Disneyland. Now, Disneyland, old company, they have long history. Did they change their strategy? Yes. Years ago, their mission is to make people happy. So, in other words, what they're thinking of is just to make people happy. So at that time, they have started having cartoon, because that was what they started. Next thing, they start having amusement park. So how are you going to make the amusement park? Ocean Park is not talking about make people happy. Maybe you are happy to go there, but the objective is not make them happy. But if you go to Disneyland, what you are thinking? Oh, it's fun. It is happy. Will you learn anything? Doesn't matter, right? Ocean Park is looking at environmental aspect. That's why that when Ocean Park started, the government asked, I have to invest so much, give you so much money. How are you going to tell me that what is your mission is different from Disneyland? Yeah, it is. So they have a different mission. So at the beginning, Disneyland is saying, we just make people happy. Anything will make people happy, we'll do it. Later on, they start, no way. If you just say make people happy, it is not focused enough for your worker to know actually what is the company objective. So they say, this time our objective is to create happiness. But how? By providing fine entertainment of people all ages. Because in the past, they were thinking of little kid, right? Now it's all ages, everywhere. That means everywhere in the world. You look at this statement, then you can ask yourself, if I have a business, if I want to sell it to Disneyland, will they buy it? What they will do is just looking at the mission statement. Is fit to our mission? If yes, we'll buy it. If no, we don't. So do you know that Disneyland not only have the amusement park, how they going to work on the entertainment? They bought out movie company. Disneyland bought out all the Iron Man, Spider-Man. Those are entertainment movie, right? So they bought the movies. And then later on, they even bought out the musical computer games. So all the business you look at, they are having are nothing but entertainment. Now, so after they bought it, they say for all ages. So what kind of movie I should send it, buy or invest our company in? Is it only cartoon? No, because they say all ages. That's why they can have Iron Man. They have a lot of movie. It's produced by Disney World, but it's for all ages. Do you watch Disney movie now? Do you? I think that recent year they have that freeze. What is it? Freeze Girl. You watch that movie? Freezer. Oh yeah, Freezer. The girl that anything he touched, turn out to be ice. Is it Freezer? Yeah. Now those movie, everyone will watch it, right? And not only little kid, and also everywhere, all the movie they have, and the musical thing is all around the world. Actually, it's so popular that sometimes you forgot that it is from America, right? Now, so that is the mission statement. So I was saying that if you have a big business, you can ask, Disneyland, should we have a joint venture, or then they will look at the mission statement and decide that that if it is fit into the company's mission. Next one, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola company mission is not selling more Coke because it's very simple. Coca-Cola been in the market for over 100 years. If you want to drink it, you will drink it. If you don't like it, you don't drink it. So how is going to have mission? You can look at it from the advertisement. They're saying that to refresh the world. So every time when you look at Coca-Cola's, what they're looking at is people are very, they always associate with water, right? Spreading the water. And the moment of optimistic. Have you seen that someone is depressed and drink Coca-Cola? I don't never see those kind of advertisement, right? And also, they say that they want to create value and make a difference everywhere we engage. At first, I don't understand this sentence. Later on, I find out, yes. Coca-Cola selling everywhere in the world. If you go to China, those small little village, you will see their logo. If you go and India, you can see the cow sitting right next to the logo. If you go to Middle East, yes, everywhere. So you know that Coca-Cola been going into anywhere in the world, but they are not just going to go there. They say they want to make a difference. A difference means that we will sell Coca-Cola, which you never have it in your country, and they also sponsor a lot of uh, programs to help out the local village. You remember when I talked about McDonald's in India? That Indian people don't like it at the beginning. Our suggestion is McDonald, you have to come out with a little bit more, program to help the local citizens. Because if you are willing to do it, then they will say, that's good because McDonald donate the computer for me. The McDonald have a little, oven house, So actually, Coca-Cola is one of their mission statement, is mentioned that yes, we want to make some difference everywhere in the world that they engage. In other words, if we sell our Coke there, we do want to make some difference to the local environment. Okay, now here is another excellent one. Sony. We all know Sony, right? Now, Sony actually started after after the Second World War. Now, after the Second World War, actually, Japan was quite poor at that time. But they know that, this kind is now like national spirit. They want to start rebuild their technologies. But, I think that it is true. If you are new, at the beginning, you don't know anything. You like to copy things, right? Because copy is one way you are going to learn. So at that time, Sony, actually most of the Japanese company, when they want to make things, they like to look pretty. They are very visual quality. So if they want to make anything, they want to, imitate or copy others. I think that, they accuse Chinese is the same thing. But my feeling is that, yeah, it is true. Sometimes, you like to learn from others and then you invent yourself at the beginning. So at that time, people really think that Japanese product is very low quality. So Sony is thinking of maybe we should change this image of the world. So they say we want to become the company most known for changing the worldwide poor quality image of Japanese product. Did they do it? Excellent. They did it, right? Sony is nowadays almost, the product almost is in the world. Especially, people told me that musical instrument actually is the best in the world. German also come up with excellent musical instrument, but German product is expensive and a little behind the modern societies. They are quite expensive. Now that is in the early 50s. That is, after the few years after the Second World War. Now nowadays, after 50 years, what they're saying, no need. Everyone know that we have high quality. So what they are thinking of is saying that to be now it is change our reputation. Next thing is to lead the global provider, leading global provider of network, consumer electronic and entertainment. So in other words, not only we want to be the one in the world leading, right, leading global, but this time they are focusing on consumer electronic. Because if you say electronic, it could be a lot of other things, but it's that consumer electronic and entertainment. That's why Sony is very famous with music equipment. I heard some of the very expensive car, you will have you have music in the car, right? So very expensive, will use Sony's musical instrument installed in the car. So when you're sitting in the car, they're saying that the music is just as good as when you are in the studios. So it's what they're thinking of, electronic and entertainment. All right. We talk so much about this. Let's come back to Hong Kong, something we are more familiar with. What about the fire department? Hong Kong Fire Department also have something called vision and missions. Basically, they are a little bit more details. So I already say vision and mission very similar, because that depends on what word they say. Vision means to serve Hong Kong by making it a safe place to live and work. That is the objective, the mission. Now, so here is saying that a safe place to live and work. What do we mean by safe? How you can make a place safe? Now, so here they are the vision statement. In other words, if you work for fire department, what is your responsibility? Look at one, to protect life and property from fire, right? Yes, we know it, right? But that is not the only thing they do. The next one is to give advice on the fire protection measure and fire hazard. Yes, the best way to make a place safe is not after they have the fire, you're going to put it out, is for protections. That's why that you do see fire departments sometimes will have some advertisement, right? Tell you that what you're supposed to do in order to protect yourself, make sure it is, less fire problem. To educate the community and to promote the public awareness of fire safety. Did they do a good job? To educate the community. So what the fire department say if there is fire? What should you do? You remember the advertisement? Oh my God, they spend a lot of money to advertise. So what they say, you have to bring 3 things with you to leave the house. You remember what the 3 things were? Student on Microsoft? You know what the 3 things are? What the fire department suggests us to do? Uh, wet towel, key. That's right. So fire department did a good job, right? Because now you know, right? Now, so the education means that make sure that they are aware of it, and of course they will talk about electronic things. Make sure that you understand those are. Now, the last thing I was surprised, I didn't know it. What they say is, the ambulance actually is not belong to the hospital, but belong to fire department. So I first think that why? Is it supposed to be the whole hospital send out the ambulance to pick up the patient? And it turned out no, actually belong to fire department. So many of those ambulance, they will park in the fire department. Actually start making sense too, because when they have fire, they will have, some people get injured. So the fire department will use those ambulance to take patients to the hospital. Because my understanding is that if someone is sick, they call the ambulance. The ambulance will come and pick up the patient. But they are not belong to any hospital. It really depends on the patient. If he need, certain kind of care, then they will take them to a certain kind of hospital. So it's not belong to the hospital itself. It belongs to the patient. What kind of hospital or what department that they need to visit. All right. So now that is fire department. Let's look at one. This is also in Hong Kong, but they are a little different business. City bus. Now, what city bus is saying that they want to be leading corporate citizens in local public transport industry. What is corporate citizen? Now, we know it's in transport, but corporate citizen means that as a good team player, right? So what are the mission statement? They say they care for and contribute to the community. That means that, when they are going to decide on the route of the bus, they have to think of the community, what the public people like, right? Second, enhance value for our stakeholders. Here, do you know what is stakeholders? Stakeholder means anyone being affected by the company. So stakeholders may also means that, I invest my money in it, I buy their stock. Those also is one of the stakeholders. Now, enhance value for our stakeholders may means that we want to make profit for whoever invests the money in our company. And that is important, because if if I want to put money in city bus and they are not, helping me to make money, will I invest my money in it, buy the stock? I won't, right? So if I don't invest my money, then city bus may have less, money to run the company because they need everyone to invest to it. So city bus understand that on one side we have to care about the community, how we develop our route and make sure that citizens be able to make use of it. But on the other hand, we also have to take care of the people who invest money, buy our stock. Other thing is deliver premium service to our customers. So nowadays you see that they are concerned about the cleanliness. They also have a lot of computer system to help, right? That is considered premier service. One more, provide a safe and comfortable workplace for our company members. Not only they care about the community outsider, stakeholder, the one who invest money for them, they also care about their customers and also the workers inside the company. So they're saying that we will not only just think of outsider. Workers is important assets to the company. We want to make sure that they will have safe and comfortable working environment. So I would assume that this will be, for example, focus on the drivers, right? So when they are thinking of the drivers, they have to make sure that at least when they design the schedule, that they will have enough times for the driver to rest, because if the driver is have overload with work, that is very dangerous, right? So in that case, they also have to think of how many hours the driver can work, how much break they can have, make sure they are in a good condition before they are going to drive the car. Now, so what I'm saying that this company is different. They are different is because this time the mission is take care of everyone in the society, the public citizens. So they take care of customer, the investors, the workers, and the community. All right. Now, so these are very, I would say, interesting and different mission statement. Now you can collect them by looking at other companies. And like I said, looking at the mission statement, they will have it. Small company, they don't. Okay. So we finished talking about setting up a mission statement, right? Next thing we have to move on is to look at the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis. Now, what is SWOT analysis? S is strength, W weaknesses, O opportunity, T is threat. So opportunity and threat is external analysis, looking at the external environment. S and W is looking at internal situations and internal environment of a company. So you say both sides have the good and bad, yes. Now when we say threat or when we say weaknesses, not necessarily is bad, but comparatively speaking, what you are good at and what you are not good at. So like for example, if I ask you, what is your strength and weaknesses? So your weaknesses may not be really your weaknesses, but you're saying that comparatively speaking, this is my strength. That means I'm good in it, and I'm weak in these things. So all company will have it. So before we just start our process, strongly recommend is a company look at it. Is the environment change, and also are you changing? So this is easy for us to say, right? Opportunity, I don't need to look up the dictionary. Strength and weakness, I know what that is. But how I'm going to apply into the company to analyze them? Now, let's again, I was saying that the best way to do it is look at it first, and then what the definitions are, and then we're going to see example. Okay. Like I said, external is outside. You are scanning the environment, and internal is looking at strength and weaknesses. So internal, what we are talking about, for example, resources, and probably right. If I have more money, or if I have more lands, and if I have more machineries. But don't all forget, when we say internal resources, may also mean capability. Do you have this expertise in working in a company? Do you have the people who know how to run this business? And the next one is core competence. Core competence means what are the major value creating the capability that it is your competitive weapon. Make it simple. That means what is that little advantage you have when you compare with your competitor? If you want to compete with others, you do have something better than the others. So in the business world is what? What that little thing that you can compete with your competitor a little better? Because that is the little thing that we want to look into. So for example, when you're going to look for a job, you all come from the same university, taking the same courses. What is your competitive, edge is what is your core competence. You tell the owner, they tell the company, why you have to hire me instead of the other classmate. So you probably may consider the type of electives you pick, focus for the company. That is your core competence. So nobody took this module, but this module actually fit into the company, like image management. All right. So he's saying nobody took this, but I took that. So that if you are going to, hire me or my classmate, maybe I have the core competence because I took this course. Or you can say I have a good GPA. Now, good GPA means what? I am more seriously about doing things. So those is what we call core competence.